When I first came to America, you'll be surprised, I did not talk of God, I did not talk of bhoots, I did not talk of any religion. I just talked about self-realization. The reason was I thought, if you get your self-realization, then you will understand the rest of it. But no use talking to you about God or about divine, because first thing is you must have your eyes, you must have the light. Otherwise, what's the use of talking about these things? But it so happened that Buddha did not give anybody realization. So it was all right for him to talk about the spirit and not about God or any religion. Such an extent that people said that Buddha was an atheist. He did not believe in God. No, it was a matter of his policy that he did not want to talk about God. But what I found when I came to America, that this world is full of all kinds of things. Firstly, the tremendous ego that they have. And secondly, they are so much conditioned. There were so many witchcrafts and forces. I mean, openly they are saying this is a witchcraft school. Openly. Or this is a satanic powers school. All kinds. I was surprised, openly saying like that. And when I came to San Diego first, because I came on my own, and the people who invited me had an organization called parapsychology. It was all bhoot, huh? So they took me down, a huge big hall, and there were lots of people sitting down. And I saw all the bhoots. I said, now what should I do? Should I say the truth or not? They might start getting angry with me. But I said better to tell them, because once they are lost in the bhoots, then what will I do with them? So I told them this is all wrong, this is all bhutish, it is all nonsense. You just don't follow free to all these things, this is not correct, you better get your realization. And see, some people did get realization, and some people did leave that organization. Now, last time when I came, I discovered in '83 that the lady who was the in charge sort of a person has become mad. And the gentleman who was organizing all that has become bankrupt and has gone to Australia. And the building has collapsed. The boots must have done the job. It was such a problem for me in those days to talk against all this nonsense. Then I went to some churches they invited. Now in the church, suddenly I found 8 or 10 Bhutish people got up and started dancing. I said, where am I now? I'm here to tell them about the spirit and see the condition here. What am I to tell them? And they ardently believed that I was an agent of God, of course, but God meaning Bhut. It was impossible to understand how far people have gone. At the same time, there was an onslaught of all the fake gurus at that time. And when I said you cannot pay for it, they said you better go back. We don't want to. So I went away and then came back after 9 years. So Buddha tried to talk only about self-realization and not about God at all. But his followers, as they are always one better than the other, tried to create a Buddhism of their own style. And in this Buddhism, whatever he had told, they did not observe. Firstly, he thought if there's ritualism and puja and all that, before realization, where will they land? So he said, all right, you do not do any puja to me. Do not build any monument in my name. You should not worship anything. So what did they do? They are worshipping his teeth, they are worshipping his nails, they are worshipping his hair. Now say, for example, if you get my hair and you are not a realized soul, what is the difference between my hair or anybody's hair? Just the same. Without realization, all this worship took them to very bhutish areas. That's how we find the Buddhists who are nowhere near Buddha. Like if you go to Japan, you can't believe they can be Buddhist. They are supposed to be Buddhist. Buddha, who is the compassionate one. Then you have got Chinese who followed Buddhism. They couldn't understand Buddhism either. And we have Tibetans, where we had these horrible lamas. And we had other people in Ladakh and all that. They are all doing nothing else but Bhuta Vidya, Prita Vidya, Smashana Vidya. So even his advent amounted to the same thing as everybody's. Now Buddha told three things which are very important, which we are very useful for Sahaja Yogis to follow. He said, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I surrender myself to the enlightened one. Means what? I surrender myself to the one who is enlightened. In this case, one can say it was Buddha. In your case, it is your spirit. You surrender yourself to your spirit. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Buddha means the one which knows. Then he says another thing, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Means surrender yourself to the religion, which is true religion, which is the balance. Now, as you see, all these man-made religions are so funny, and you can't make much out of them. Can't explain if these are religions or these are mafias. The reason is, Buddha said, you surrender yourselves to dharma. So the Buddhist thought surrender to dharma means what you have to do is to become like Buddhist, means wear a dress like a Buddhist, like Buddha used to wear. You don't become by wearing that dress Buddha, do you? Or then they thought we should do something more. So some Buddhists got hold of a wheel, because she talked of a wheel of life and all that. Absolutely, I should say, very unintelligent way of understanding Buddha. And they would go on, you see, moving that wheel like mad. You can't talk to them. You say, now, where is that road? Buddha. How do we go there? Everything has an answer. So I said, please answer me. This is the answer. What is this answer going on? Then these people thought we should find out new methods. So some of them took to again Upanishads and started using also from there, making Jataka Kathas, like the stories which are very absurd, funny stories, mysterious stories, this story, that story. At the same time, Hinduism took another funny role, and they had a big assault of Tantrikas. And when the Tantrikas came in, they brought all kinds of ugly, horrible things in the, say, about the 6th century it started. And a complete belt starting beyond Calcutta going towards Dwarika. Complete belt got involved into Tantrism. So the same Buddhists later on followed the same Tantric method. So they tried to bring in everything from this place, that place, and a mixture. So now if you ask now, what's your religion? It's I'm Buddhist. What Buddhist? Hinayan, Yunan, I'm Zen, this, that, all kinds of Buddhism is there. It's impossible to understand really where is Buddhism there. So what do these do? One will shave their hair, one will shave the moustache, another will this kind of a dress. This is the only difference between from one to another. But the common point is that they are all cheats, they all can deceive you, they can tell lies without feeling funny, they are very sly, very cunning and suicidal, they can be very violent, and the only desire they have is to kill everybody who comes across. This is where Buddhism has ended up. So now we are face to face with Buddha. But what he talked about was a spontaneous happening of self-realization. And he said you prepare yourself, all the time he said you prepare yourself for self-realization and try to watch everything without desire. This was just preparation for Sahaja Yoga he was talking about. But as you see, all the Buddhists today, if you see them, you'll be amazed that they are neither here nor there. You just don't know how to place them, how to understand them, how to make them feel what Buddha taught or Zen's taught. They are not in a condition to understand anything. It's like, you see, the brain of a person who is having all kinds of thoughts, like all the pebbles in one little pot, making noise. God knows which one is making which noise.